Bay leaf is not meant to be eaten. And yet, it is essential. This single fact already places bay leaf in a unique position among spices. It contributes flavor, structure, and depth, but never demands attention. It enters the dish quietly, does its work slowly, and leaves before the final moment. Bay leaf comes from the tree Laurus nobilis, commonly known as the bay laurel. This evergreen tree is native to the Mediterranean region, where it has been valued for thousands of years not only as a culinary ingredient, but as a symbol of power, wisdom, and victory. In ancient Greece and Rome, bay laurel crowns were worn by poets, scholars, and emperors. The leaf represented intellect and achievement long before it ever represented flavor. That symbolism still echoes today in the word baccalaureate, which traces back to laurel crowns. Culinarily, bay leaf is deceptive. Smell it raw and dry, and it seems mild, almost unimpressive. Add it to hot liquid, oil, or fat, and time unlocks its chemistry. Bay leaf is not a surface spice. It does not release flavor instantly. Its essential oils are fat-soluble and heat-activated. This means bay leaf works best in soups, stews, braises, sauces, and long-cooked dishes. When heated slowly, bay leaf releases compounds like cineol, eugenol, pine, and linalool. These chemicals create aromas that are herbal, slightly floral, woody, and subtly bitter. None of these dominate on their own. Together, they create background complexity. Bay leaf does not add a clear flavor you can point to. Instead, it shapes the flavor of everything around it. Remove the bay leaf, and the dish feels flat. Leave it in, and the dish feels complete. This is why bay leaf is often described as missing when absent but unnoticed when present. Different cultures use bay leaf differently. Mediterranean cuisines rely on it heavily in tomato-based sauces, meat stews, and bean dishes. French cuisine uses bay leaf as part of bouquet garni, tied with thyme and parsley stems to flavor stocks and braises. In Indian cuisine, bay leaf takes a different form. Indian bay leaf, known as Tej Pata, comes from a different tree species and has stronger cinnamon-like notes. It is often sautéed in oil at the beginning of cooking, unlike Mediterranean bay leaf, which is usually added later. In Caribbean and Latin American cooking, bay leaf appears in rice dishes, beans, soups, and slow-cooked meats. In Filipino cuisine, it is essential in adobo, where it balances vinegar and soy sauce. Despite its widespread use, bay leaf is often misunderstood by home cooks. Many expect it to taste like oregano or basil. When they do not detect a clear flavor, they assume it does nothing. This assumption is wrong. Bay leaf operates like salt's quieter cousin. It enhances perception. It smooths harsh edges. It connects flavors across time. Bay leaf also plays a structural role. In dishes with acidity, fat, and protein, it helps unify these components. It reduces the sharpness of acid and rounds bitterness. Another key function of bay leaf is aroma layering. When a dish simmers, bay leaf releases volatile compounds gradually. This means the aroma evolves rather than peaks quickly. This slow release is why bay leaf should never be rushed. Adding it at the last minute does almost nothing. It needs time. Fresh bay leaves are stronger than dried ones. They contain higher concentrations of volatile oils. However, dried bay leaves are more common and more stable, making them standard in most kitchens. Fresh bay leaves are often softer, greener, and more aromatic, but they must be used carefully to avoid overpowering delicate dishes. 1 leaf is usually enough. 2 is pushing it. Bay leaf is subtle but persistent. From a nutritional perspective, bay leaf is not consumed directly, so its vitamins and minerals are not absorbed in meaningful amounts. However, it has traditionally been used in herbal medicine. Historically, bay leaf has been associated with digestion, appetite stimulation, and mild anti-inflammatory effects. Bay leaf tea has been used in folk medicine for bloating and respiratory discomfort. Modern science confirms that bay leaf contains antioxidant compounds, though culinary use focuses on flavor rather than health claims. One critical rule: bay leaf should always be removed before serving. The leaf does not soften with cooking. It remains tough and sharp-edged, posing a choking hazard. This removal ritual reinforces bay leaf's role as a behind-the-scenes ingredient. It contributes but never performs. Bay leaf also teaches patience. It does not reward quick cooking. It rewards time, low heat, and restraint. In industrial food production, bay leaf is rarely used because it does not deliver instant flavor. It is a slow ingredient in a fast world. This is why bay leaf remains closely associated with home cooking, tradition, and long-simmered meals. Visually, bay leaf is simple. Elongated, matte green or olive brown, with a leathery texture. Its appearance does not signal power. Its impact does. The biggest mistake with bay leaf is expecting it to behave like other herbs. It is not basil. It is not thyme. It is not oregano. Bay leaf is architectural. It builds flavor frameworks. Remove bay leaf from a stew, and nothing tastes wrong. Everything just tastes less right. That is its genius. Bay leaf proves that the most important elements in cooking are often invisible by the end.